Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. Welcome. Alright guys, so we're continuing with the drama from the last video about the tone-deaf developers. But there's some additional comments by Alexia Christoff which I wanted to speak about. I deliberately left this out of the video because there's a lot to get into and it's quite controversial. Which is why this all needed to be broken down in a separate video. Now this is again coming from Battlefield Bulletin. We won't be going into the whole thing, but check that out. In a later interview with GamesBeat at the DICE Summit in Las Vegas, DICE's producer Alexia Christoff said that the reason for not releasing more than 2 maps per season is because they don't want to sacrifice quality. So what she said was, we're releasing on a cadence where we feel the maps are up to quality and we're happy with how they play, the variety they give to the players, and goes on to reiterate that point again later on. We don't want to sacrifice quality. Right, so keep in mind, this is a producer working on menu and progression systems. I'm not sure if she's working on maps, so no idea why she's speaking on their behalf, unless she is working on maps. And as you know, the UI is still broke. The server browser has less presence and doesn't really work as well, among other issues. Post-match screen is broken, post-season 2 update, you can't see your characters, and there appears to be visual bugs with the weapons menu, and sometimes weapons are out of focus, etc. But for now, we're keeping focused on the maps here. Right, so to summarize the whole interview, they don't want to sacrifice quality. What I'm getting from that is, and from everything we've seen, they have a perfectionist OCD. It takes them forever to do shit because of the immense pressure of trying to compete with the older, bigger games. Like I've said before, BF3, BF4, etc. BF6 was supposed to be the successor to that, and the weight of that legacy is driving them insane. And they do not have the capacity to deal with that stress. Hard work for them is literally over-decorating these Lilliputian maps, lacking in any true scale by classic Battlefield standards. Look at this and tell me these maps are not overly decorated with shit tons of assets. We're releasing on a cadence where we feel the maps are up to quality and we're happy with how they play, the variety they give to the players. There are worlds in which we release hundreds of maps, but they're not fun. We never want to do that. We have to make sure that the maps feel good to play, that they're fun to play. Right, I don't think they're really building hundreds of maps. That's obviously an exaggeration, because if they are building hundreds of maps and they can't collectively complete 3 maps minimum per season, that's a massive misuse of development time. Again, telling you they can't get their shit together. Again, that's also bullshit because, you know, like 96% of the game's maps play like dog shit. Now, I 100% agree that making maps can be very difficult. Like I said, I graduated as an architect. I worked as an assistant. I've built maps on various software, including Unreal, even ran my own business at one point, so I understand it can be stressful. But keep in mind, guys, we've literally seen their standard for quality, and it's not great. We're talking 8 very narrow, condensed, small-ass launch maps completely divorced from anything Battlefield, okay? They don't have any space. They don't have any base 4 vehicles. They don't play well on certain game modes. It's dog shit, I'm sorry. You've only got 2 maps big enough for jets. That's pathetic. We got 4 real-world locations. Each location was split into 2 separate launch maps, marketed as 8 total maps to inflate the numbers. Again, all relatively small by classic Battlefield standards. Sandbox is tiny. Reduced weapons, reduced vehicles, no evolution, no dynamic elements, etc. That's how little we got. In terms of quality, these are by far the worst Battlefield maps we've ever played. They're caked out with shit tons of assets to the point it's fucking with your frame rate. Is this the quality you're talking about, love? Repurposed real-world locations, so about 80% of the layout is already done for you, and they're all missing the fundamentals. No open space, no vehicle focus, no true large-scale combined arms combat. What we got was high-octane CQC bullshit. So it's COD, and we were told to temper our expectations because they knew this couldn't compete with the older games. Blackwell's Fields, god-awful. Eastwood, contaminated, decent at best. Launch maps are all dog shit, and that's it. Fort Linden, pulled from Red Sect, plays great, but it's not in the base game because it's stuck in Portal. Oh, but don't worry guys, because we've got 2 map remakes coming in the next season, Propaganda and Gold Mud. Maps which are piss easy to remake, maps which no one asked for, leaving players stuck with garbage going almost a year into this damn game at this point. Again, is this the quality we're talking about? I completely empathize with the players when they ask for more maps and more content. They talk about that because they're passionate about the game, passionate about the franchise. But we're a team of a certain size. We don't want to sacrifice quality. Right, so there it is. We're a team of a certain size. That could mean they're a team of 12. It could mean they're a team of 50. What exactly that means, we don't know because DICE won't release the headcount per studio. Now, shortly after GameSpot posted the transcript of the interview, the community and a number of channels started coming up with their own conclusions, 3 of which we're going to break down. First one is they don't have enough time and resources. So they're a skeleton crew working on the damn game currently. And third is they're working on the next game, and so are focusing most of their resources on that. None of this is fact. We can't verify it. We'll start off with number 3 because that's the easiest one. Not saying it's not possible that they're not working on the next game. They probably do have 1 or 2 studios drafting plans for the next game, but the likelihood of all these studios abandoning a AAA flagship game just 6 months in doesn't seem very realistic to me. Again, there is no verifiable evidence to prove that they're working on the next game, so we don't know. People are just assuming they're working on the next game because of the lack of content. But what we do know is that there are 4 studios currently connected to this game, backed by a multi-billion-dollar company. There were reports of EA planning to copy COD's annual release, and there's a very clear DEI agenda in the studio, boasting a 52% representation of women in the company. That's not me being racist or a sexist or a misogynist. That's what's written on their damn webpage. This is all fact. Pause the video, read what the fuck I'm showing you, or better yet, research this information for yourself. Don't crash out in the comments basically telling me I'm a cunt. Where's the evidence? When you haven't looked at the fucking timestamps, which literally says evidence of DEI, showing you the documentation and said video evidence of DEI. So to clarify all this bullshit, I DM'd Alexia Christoff, a producer on Battlefield 6, responsible for all things progression from UI to game menus and so on. You may have noticed I've featured her before on the channel. Did I expect a response? Hell no. I did that to freak them out a bit, but someone needs to start asking some serious questions because at the moment, shit does not make any sense. Again, the rumor going around is that Battlefield Studios are basically running on a skeleton crew, that most of the team have either left or are already working on the next game to prepare for the yearly release model trying to copy COD. Again, this is supposedly why content has been so lacking, why they can't produce more than 2 maps per season, why they can't supply the game with anything substantial. But again, that's all speculation. None of this is fact, apart from EA's reported yearly release plans, which isn't exactly set in stone yet either. They of course need to fuck off with that terrible idea, but we'll save that for another time. So argument number 1, they don't have enough time and resources. Now, Alexia didn't say that exactly. Again, the quote was, "We're a team of a certain size and we're not willing to sacrifice quality." This is what the writer perceived was going on at the time. It's a logical take, but it conveniently moves the target away from the developers, the DEI culture we spoke about. Because rather than blaming each of the developers in these studios, it's a lot safer for them to blame this faceless, mysterious governing company called EA. Now I'm going to shut the gameplay off for a second so you can focus on what I'm saying here. Let me explain how this works. EA set the project, they set the delivery time frame, they provide the funding, they've created 4 to 5 studios to work on the game. They say, okay guys, we want you to create Battlefield 6, we want microtransactions, live service elements in there, so we can pull in a bit more revenue. It's up to you to deliver the project and maintain that project with the adequate content. We'll check back in a few months and we'll see how you're doing. We have other IPs to manage. So, Battlefield Studios get to work. This includes DICE, Criterion, Motive, and Ripple Effect. Ridgeline Games were also part of the development process, working on campaign but closed down post-launch. So that's 5 studios working on the game, now 4 studios. They get together and they create literally every aspect of the project. They pitch the idea, they build the entire project from the UI, progression systems, server browser to story arc, factions, maps, modes, weapons, content strategy and delivery, updates and maintenance, and so on. They all need to have the work prepared and ready to meet the project deadline. Whether or not the game is woke depends on what this development team want to create. But this is how shit works, guys. Understand this. So when you see fashion show player skins, when you see this hero shooter-esque bullshit forcing you to play as females, when you see small-ass maps, small sandbox, etc., failing to produce the adequate content to meet the deadlines, that's all coming from the studio, the operational side. I'm not just talking shit. This is how it goes. And it's pretty obvious that they've even recycled parts of the engine from different games. You can see bits of 2042, BF5, and BF1 in there, mechanics from previous games. They obviously did that to save time, which is common in game dev. So they also had that extra advantage, guys. In regards to Battlefield Studios, this whole process likely went like this. EA sets revenue goals and launch window. Battlefield leadership proposes a development plan. This was likely Vince Zampella and so on. EA approves funding and scope. Studios divide responsibilities. Development begins. Scope gets adjusted based on time, budget, and technical issues. Marketing deadlines often lock in before development is fully stable. So it's less EA tells them exactly what to build, and more EA sets financial and timeline constraints, and the studios build within those constraints. Again, EA is a multi-billion-dollar company, and this is in line with the producer's comments of they need more time, yet because they can't meet the deadline, because they can't do their homework on time. So now we want to know how many developers are in each studio. Remember, this is a AAA flagship franchise, guys. It's not some struggling indie dev team from War Dogs or some bullshit. The financial backing in these studios are in the hundreds of millions. They're spread out across 4 different locations in high-rise buildings with multiple floors, high-end studios, and equipment. Now, for this team breakdown, if we look at this from a historical viewpoint and industry norms, we know these teams can be very large. Remember, EA doesn't publicly release exact headcounts per project. We'll have to make an educated guess for each and a rough total estimate. DICE Stockholm in Sweden, lead studio, primary tech and multiplayer systems, estimated at 200 to 300 developers. Reasoning, primary responsibility for core game infrastructure, netcode, servers, weapons, balance and main multiplayer experience. Historically the largest team on Battlefield titles. Criterion Games in Guildford, UK, support on, this is where Alexia is based, support on UI, UX, game flow and backend systems. Estimated at 50 to 100 developers. Reasoning, not leading the core game experience, but heavily involved in supportive tech areas. Criterion is sizable but typically smaller than a main lead studio. Motive Studio, Montreal, Canada, campaign originally and went on to provide supplementary multiplayer content. Estimated at 80 to 100 plus developers. Initially involved in the single player campaign, now assisting with content and maps, a significant supporting role. Now that's an additional sum added to the team at DICE working on the multiplayer. Ripple Effect Studios in LA, Stockholm, working on RedSect, the Battle Royale live service mode and new content modes, estimated at 70 to 100 plus developers. Focused on RedSec, content pipelines and seasonal mode work. Smaller than the lead studio, but still substantial for ongoing live service support. Now this will explain why the content pulled from RedSec didn't manage to fully integrate its way properly into the core playlists yet. It's still in Portal, because it's made by a completely different studio and they botched the port. They need to go back and fix that. So we can make a rough estimate that there's around 400 to 600 developers still working on the damn game across its 4 studios, okay, with the benefit of the doubt that some developers have shifted mid-campaign due to outsourcing, contractors and temporary hires fluctuate. That said, we're still talking 300 plus developers working on the damn multiplayer. That's an adequately sized workforce, at least large enough to produce more than fucking 2 maps per season. Keep in mind, guys, these maps, this content is not high quality content at all. They're inspired by something else, they're remakes, or they're just fucking small by classic standards. They still don't offer the wide variety of vehicles they should have, and so on. The math just isn't adding up here. You have the people, yet the output is fucking pathetic. Why? Because of DEI, that's why. Like, I could literally build entire maps on my own, and you have studios filled with 300 plus developers. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So do they have enough time and resources? Yes. Are they a skeleton crew working on the game? Hell no. And to add to that, the game released in a very piss-poor state, guys. Again, this game was bare bones at launch. Sorry to list it again, but maps are dog shit. Very linear, very small CQC bullshit. No focus on vehicle large-scale combined arms warfare. Heavily gated by kill boundaries. No levolution, no dynamic weather systems, reduced sandbox, no boats. Water physics is jacked up. 8 small-ass launch maps, which are really just 4 maps split into 2 to inflate the numbers. Reduced customization. Forcing gender through characters. What the fuck is this game? Did they not have enough time and resources during development? Were there not a team of a certain size during development? No, they have everything they need. The problem is that they don't have the capacity. They don't have the fucking endurance, and they sure as shit don't have the testosterone to do the job, thanks to this DEI system. Season 2, lacking in content, is not where the problem began. This shit began in BF5, bro. Yeah, that's how long this has been going on. That game was severely lacking in content, with a creative design choice to focus on bullshit battles we never heard of, yet to make the work as easy as possible for them, to give them the least amount to do. Like, you know, we saw this dramatic difference in the development team's behavior. Again, they told you to shut the fuck up, accept the woke bullshit, or don't buy the game. They stand up for the cause. What exactly is the cause? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. These people are progressives. Progressives are leftists. These people are weak, emotional, liberal retards. So if you want strong, masculine, complete games day one, pushing innovation forward, making bigger, better games, which build with every release, with grounded skins, iconic maps, great performance, great soundtracks, then these people need to get the fuck out. And we need to go back to a patriarchal system. It's as simple as that. Now, there's another problem surrounding this whole drama, because it seems as though a good portion of channels out here are running cover for this development team. You know, the clearest sign that you're being psyoped is when everyone starts repeating the same garbage narratives. Every news outlet, every channel is literally spinning the same narratives. They're consistently disingenuous, they ignore the real issue, or they desperately divert the subject to something else. I'm not going to name names. I don't really like exposing other YouTubers for grifting, but you've probably seen a number of channels all regurgitating the same crap about their lacking time and resources, or it's obvious they're working on BF7 narratives. That's all bullshit. They get the views, their relationships with the developers, insider groups, their sponsorships remain intact, and ultimately all they do is provide a light critique with some recommendations, make some nostalgia bait videos here and there, and it's like rearranging a deck of chairs on a sinking ship. Nothing gets fucking done, and yeah, the game gets worse. So these people are all compromised. You can't trust them. So finally, I think DEI is behind the lack of content in this game. I've personally seen these people go into the office, they do nothing but fucking eat 3 full course meals and make TikTok videos. These progressives are lazy. You can disagree with me if you want, and that's fine. I don't block anyone, but I don't see how you could disagree when I'm showing you all the documentation proving DEI is a core principle of DICE. And they need DEI because they're all simps that don't get pussy. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And, you know, look around, guys. Every studio with DEI is a fucking joke. We've lost countless other major IPs already. It's become woke slop, okay? Halo, Gears of War, Star Wars, COD, you name it. So I do plan on talking about the yearly release at some point, but that needs its own video. If they do that to Battlefield, that would absolutely be disgusting. I'd never buy another Battlefield game ever again. This is a very complex sandbox game. Okay, there's so much layering involved in the development process to achieve that large-scale, all-out warfare feel. That requires a ton of time. The studio will not be able to meet those demands in a yearly release cycle. It's not happening. All that's doing is guaranteeing you will get more unfinished mediocre slop, regurgitating COD bullshit, which is exactly what BF6 is, let's be honest. I'm surprised they got it in the state it's currently in. It's truly amazing. You can't market this game as the biggest Battlefield ever, the largest studio collaboration ever, the most ambitious live service ever, and then deliver the bare minimum and expect people not to question it. You know, and pretending this is normal is just coping. And accepting this is where the game is going for Battlefield. It's simply pathetic. So people need to start getting pissed off, start asking questions, you know, about what the hell is going on in these studios. Like, where's the transparency? So anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. This video was supposed to be a lot longer, but I had to cut things out. I'm probably shadow banned at this point as it is. And like I've said before, I am working on a bigger video, a concept DLC for BF6. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, guys. There's so much I'm trying to build with that. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Feel free to provide any suggestions, unique locations around naval warfare, which you want me to look into. I might consider it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.